Hello everyone, welcome to today's lesson. This is Idioms part 2 and here we will deal with some more exercises on idioms. Here are some different type of exercises. There a sentence is given to you and you have to find out the appropriate synonym for the italicized words. I welcome you on my channel known as nthe, and I am your host Arti Sharma, who will be there in the whole video with you. So let us proceed with our video. So first of all, I am providing you the information. Select the most appropriate idiom that can substitute the italicized words in the given sentences. यहाँ पर आपको जो तिरछे अक्षरों में लिखे गए शब्द हैं उनके लिए एक सब्स्टिट्यूट जो इडियम होगा वो आपको फाइंड आउट करना है. And here is your sentence. I have been a vegetarian for a very long time. Now you have to find out the appropriate substitute of idiom for the word a very long time. First is donkey rears. Next, duck in the thunderstorm. And die in harness. And the fourth is Damocles sword. And we are providing you here the appropriate time so that you can find your answers yourself. Otherwise, check your answer with our answers. And here is your answer. The answer is donkey years. I have been a vegetarian for a donkey's years. Now, the next. He was sacked from his job because of a grave error on his part. Now you have to give the substitute for a grave error. Your options are raining cats and dogs, minding one's P's and Q's, picking holes in one's coat, Himalayan blunder. And the correct answer is Himalayan blunder. He was sacked from his job because of Himalayan blunder on his part. Next is the announcement of the new tourist policy of the government has made some people excited or interested. Now you have to provide the appropriate substitute for excited or interested. Your options are pull out all the stops, run around in circles, quicken the pulse, reach for the moon. And your answer is quicken the pulse. The announcement of the new tourist policy of the government has made some people quicken the pulse. Now the next. The lecture by the French professor seemed Latin and Greek to the young students. And the answer to be provided by you of Latin and Greek. Your options are interesting, lucid, unbiased, incomprehensible. And the answer is incomprehensible. Now the next is some people still feel that they have very little freedom to be innovative at their work. Provide the answer of little freedom. First, elbow room, an old lady, an old head on young shoulders, to make a pile. And the answer is elbow room. Some people still feel that they have elbow room to be innovative in their work. And the next is on the ball. You have to provide appropriate idiom for the phrase on the ball. And here are your options. To be alert, doing a bad job, doing an average job, to be lazy. And the answer is to be alert. Now the next is, when the war breaks out, all the war-mongering social media activists become yellow bellies. And find out for yellow bellies. Your options are zealots, cowards, skeptics, upset stomachs. And the answer is cowards. When the war breaks out, all the war-mongering social media activists become cowards. Now the next, a rolling stone gather no mass. You have to provide appropriate substitute for a rolling stone gather no mass. Your options are a person who settles for a short time and runs from place to place enjoying his freedom. Next, a person who does not settle anywhere for a short time and is always searching for gold. Next, a person who settles for a long time and leads a boring and useless life. A person who does not settle in one place for a long time does not gain wealth, name or fame. And the answer is a person who does not settle in one place for a long time does not gain wealth, name or fame. Now the next is, the great director Prakash, after receiving his award from IEFA, blanks in his Mumbai home. And you have to provide appropriate substitute for the blank space. Your options are breathed his last, nipped in the bud, kept the ball rolling, dug the grave. And the answer is breathed his last. The great director Prakash, after receiving the award from IEFA, breathed his last in his Mumbai home. And the next is, the young boy was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. You have to provide substitute for born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Your options are born with a spoon stuck in his mouth, born to riches and luxury, born with a spoon that was not of gold, born to not so rich parents. And the answer is born to riches and luxury. The young boy was born to riches and luxury. Now here you can see that the idiom is given in the question, and you have to find out the similar substitute for the idiom. So different type of questions may be asked in your examinations, so you have to be kept in mind all these things. Now the next is the world needs a global leader who can hold out a gesture of peace. Now find out the word for gesture of peace. Options are mother wit, halcyon days, glass window, and olive branch. And the answer is an olive branch. The world needs a global leader who can hold out an olive branch. Now the next is, here is the question. Nobody in the conference seemed to believe the cook and bull story about such a major movie star. Now you have to find out appropriate substitute for cock and bull. And your options are factual story, wildly exaggerated or falsified story, interesting story, secretive story. And the answer is wildly exaggerated or falsified story. Nobody in the conference seemed to believe the widely exaggerated or falsified story about such a major movie star. Instead of this, you can also use substitute cock and bull story. Now the next is, here is the question. The game is now in full swing. In full swing is the idiom. You have to provide the substitute here, and the answer is very passive, very uninteresting, playing on the swings, very active. Here is your answer, very active. The game is now very active. Now the next is, first the question. Take something at face value. You have to provide the appropriate substitute. Take something at face value. Your options are accept something as it looks without thinking about whether it might in fact not be quite what it appears. Next is, and according to the appearance of something. Not laugh or change your expression even though you want to laugh. Show that you do not like something by making an unpleasant expression. And your answer is accept something as it looks without thinking about whether it might in fact not be quite what it appears. You have given here the meaning of this idiom. Now the next is, here is the question. A fair weather friend can never be trusted in the times of exigency. Your options are a close friend, a pen friend, a selfish friend, an old acquaintance. You have to give here the appropriate substitute for a fair weather friend. And your answer is a selfish friend can never be trusted in the times of exigency. Now here you have to avoid the typing error of the word in. So the next is cudgel one's brain. Options are thinking about a debate, to think hard, not to think, to overthink. And the answer is to think hard. Cousin one's brain means to think hard. Now the next is, first the question, one has to be persistence in studies if she wants to get his or her dream job. Success will remain unattainable if one studies blanks. You have to provide the appropriate substitute for the blank space. And your options are root and branch, the 3 R's in ups and downs, by fits and starts. And your answer is by fits and starts. One has to be persistent in studies if she wants to get his or her dream job. Success will remain unattainable if one studies by fits and starts. And the next is, I bought some extra copies from the stationery shops. These may come in handy during examination. You have to provide come in handy. Substitute for come in handy. And your options are be useful, cause trouble, be bold, bring luck. And your answer is be useful. I bought some extra copies from the stationery shops. These may be useful during examination. So, come in handy and be useful are similar. Now the next is, here is the question. Play it by ear. Now you have to provide the appropriate substitute for play it by ear. And the options are to do something without spatial preparation. Next is to plan, to listen carefully, to improve. And your answer is to do something without spatial preparation. And the next is, here is the question. One has 2 blanks, the risks associated with global warming. Your options are for the blank space are here. Cook in mind, bear in mind, take in mind, break in mind. And the correct answer for the blank space is bear in mind. One has to bear in mind the risks associated with global warming. And the next is on cloud 9. This is an idiom and you have to provide the meaning here. Your options are flying, floating, dreaming, very happy. And the correct answer is, which is similar to on cloud 9, is very happy. And the next is, here is the question. Someone's heart is in the right place. You have to provide the appropriate substitute for someone's heart in the right place. And your options are suddenly feel so excited or frightened that your heart beats faster. Change your opinion or the way you feel. Share secret worries with someone else. Kind and thoughtful. And your answer is Here is your answer. Kind and thoughtful. Someone's heart is in the right place is similar to kind and thoughtful. Now the next is, here's your question. Down the tubes. You have to provide the synonym of this idiom from the options. And your options are minting money, falling completely, being informal, going to swim. And your answer is falling completely. Now the next is the question. Kalam's house, located on Mosque Street, was within the reach of the famous temple of Rameshwaram. It was just blanks from it. And your options are a stone's throw away, at one's fingertips, at arm's length, from pillar to post. And the answer is a stone's throw away. Kalam's house, located on Mosque Street, was within the reach of the famous temple of Rameshwaram. It was just a stone's throw away from it. And the next is, here the question. I begged him to reconsider my application, but he put his foot down. You have to provide from the options, substitute for put his foot down. And your options are stamped his foot down, agreed to reconsider, refused to yield, did not run. And your answer is refused to yield. I begged him to reconsider my application, but he refused to yield. Now the next is, the activist is working really hard and was determined to blanks for this cause. Options are have feet of clay, blow his own trumpet, move heaven and earth, keep the wolf from the door. And the correct answer for the blanks from the options is move heaven and earth. The activist is working really hard and was determined to move heaven and earth for this cause. Now the next is, she raised a blanks when she saw her luggage missing. The options are hue and cry, spick and span, hand and foot, whip and spur. And the correct answer for the blank space is, she raised a hue and cry when she saw her luggage missing. Now, the next, after several years of cheating on his book, the candidates finally had to face the music and lost the opportunity. Now you have to provide the appropriate substitute for face the music. Your options are accept ignorance, to accept unpleasant consequences, choose another alternative that is uninteresting, be exposed. And the correct answer is to accept unpleasant consequences. After several years of cheating on his book, the candidates finally had to accept unpleasant consequences and lose the opportunity. Now the next is, lose your marbles. And your options are to go insane, to handle stress, to lower down anger, to be patient. And the correct answer is to lose, to go insane. Lose your marbles means to go insane. And the next, thanks for your time. We have come to the end of this video, and I hope you will continue to be our channel Knowledge Diary and learn in a similar manner. Till then, happy learning. Have a nice day.